left work, called my wife, called my friend in Miami, Brandon, and I was like, man, I left, I quit, did it. And I just felt like the world was lifted off my shoulder. I just felt good about it. And I can remember my sister-in-law, which worked at the job, she asked me, she said, so what happens if you want to come back? You didn't put your 2 weeks notice in. And I told her that it's like a boat. Say you got a boat in the ocean. And I'm traveling on that boat, getting to land. And once I hit land, I'm getting off into land, and I'm pushing the boat back into the water. So there's no way for me to go back to where I came from. I'm pretty much gonna be stuck on that land. And I told her the only way I leave and go back is in the body bag.
Say hello. I'll be there for you, 'cause you're worth it.
You don't know the struggle that we overcame. I lived the life of hustle, now we hustle for his name. I done seen the dark, suck people down the drain, making them my train off the track. Tunnel vision acting strange, but that never stopped us from helping you like you was family. And through the thick and tragedy, in your mud and your agony, we understand your pain. It may look like a catastrophe, but in the end you had to see you can take it out automatically. Live the life of hustle, now we hustle for his name. I done seen the life of hustle, now we hustle for his name. I done seen the life of hustle, hustle for his name. I done seen the life of hustle, now we fame. I done seen.
Say hello.
To the people that I rock with, we on a freight train, no stopping, we rockin'.
I'll be there for you, 'cause you're worth it.
Who you rockin' with? Who you rockin' with?
We on a freight train, no stopping, we rockin'.
Who you rockin' with? Who you rockin' with?
I'll be there for you, 'cause you're worth it.
Every day. Who you rockin' with? Who you rockin' with?
Say hello.
We on a freight train, no stopping, we rockin'.
I'll be there for you, 'cause you're worth
We on a
it.
freight train, no stopping, we rockin'.
How you doing? My name is Brian Tisdale. I'm the owner / trainer, personal trainer here at USG, Ultimate Stomping Ground. Let me just take you back to the beginning of time.
There's a DVD on the market about life in Clearwater called The Hood Gone Wild. The video shows people fighting, selling drugs, and using racial slurs. But Tampa-based 10 News reporter Tammy Fields learned some people believe the producers got it right.
North Greenwood is where a lot of the footage was shot. In this community, where there is supposedly zero drug tolerance, it's hard to imagine at first glance. There's a library, recreation aquatic complex, neighbors visiting, a real sense of community.
Grew up, Clearwater, Florida, Greenwood area, where it's my area, Greenwood, and I grew up in the projects, Greenwood projects, when it was, projects back then. They dressed them up now, but I grew up with my auntie and my uncle, who pretty much raised me from a young kid. My mom, she's been in prison all my life, and my dad, I never got a chance to meet my dad, so I can relate to the kids a lot.
Harry Preston's nephew is one of the co-producers of the DVD. Preston says the problems here are a direct result of integration. Successful African Americans moving out.
So this is a result of what happens when you don't give back. It's about what's really going on in the black community, not just in Clearwater, it's all over America.
Dude get stabbed right there. I was a little kid, he rolled up, came out, his whole outside of his side was laying out. You see all his insides laying out right there. He jumped back in his car, took off, got in and hit the gas, man. It's a lot of stuff, man. Growing up in the projects, we've seen a lot of stuff at a young age. But it was a close-knit family. Everybody in here was like family. But at the same time, there was a lot of stuff going on every day, man. So it was real busy. A lot of activity going on. When I was in high school, my uncle provided me with a weight bench. I had a weight bench next to my bed. I had a weight bench outside. So my uncle pretty much provided me with all the tools necessary. I had my cousin, which was a father figure to me. His name was Melvin Wright Punkin.
and he pretty much put the ball in my hand at an early age, him and Anthony Pasco. And they put a lot of time in with me and just taught me the game, basic fundamentals. I fell in love with the game, and it all pretty much started from there. I've been a captain on all my teams. Since I was 7 years old, I was always a captain on each team, all the way up to until I got to college. I was a leader, so a lot of stuff that God put in me at the time I didn't know, but He was leading me in a direction to be where I am today. And I thank God for placing me here.
Football started right here in the grass, man. I actually got my cut, my scar. I got it from basically smashing a can, playing football in the grass. I could have been in a lot more trouble than what I actually was, man. I used to come down here, hang out with my buddies, you know, hang out with the boys, stuff like that. Also, we get away, play, you know, video games. They had the video games in here. They had the pool table, you know, ping pong. I was like a ping pong king, you know. I was good at it. At least I thought I was. And then they had a lot of different games in here. The dances was all in here. You know, every other Friday you got a dance in here. You know, and stuff like that. They always had something going on for us here. And, you know, the rec leaders and stuff like that was real good to us here. So this was the entrance. This is where we used to always come in at. So right now, you'll see this whole thing will be flooded with kids, you know, all over. Kids here, kids there. You know, this field was kids. Played football out there, whatever you want to play out there in the grass. This was the entrance to it. You know. Everything was open, no blinds, no nothing. You know, this was always open, you know, for the community, the kids, and this kept me out of trouble, man. This place was open like late, you know, pretty, you know, at night, I think 7 or 8 o'clock, something like that, on the weekends and stuff like that. So we always had, you know, this to come to and be a part of. It was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Angela Tisdale with Ultimate Stomping Ground, and I'm the director of operations here at USG, and I handle all the behind the scenes. And I'm going to show you around to our facility. This is our waiting room. Whenever we have parents or family members who are in here who are waiting for their kids to get training, or they're waiting for their next class, they sit in here with the nice AC, so they're not in the nice hot box over there. They can actually look out into the main training area to see exactly, you know, their kids training. A lot of the parents love that. They actually love to be right there in the midst of everything. So we actually have them come back and they get to enjoy the AC. So we provide water for our athletes and for our members that come in here. We usually, you know, go through so much water during the week, and although, you know, we offer water, we also provide a complimentary service with the water. Coming back along, we have our bathroom. We have 2 bathrooms in here, one with the shower and where they can get dressed. We have the chair where they can sit down and get ready for them, you know, whether they have to go to work or go to class. You know, we have the accessibility for them to shower. And this is where we get members signed up. We speak to them, we talk to them, mentor them right in this office. I'm usually the one behind the scenes, and I'm getting their paperwork taken care of and getting them signed up.
I pretty much just had one client when I was at the Brinks job when I first started training, and I quit my job. So I quit my job, no 2 weeks notice. You know, I prayed with my wife, and we had a young man by the name of Leonard Johnson. He was at Tampa Bay Bucks at the time.
We have so many athletes who had the opportunity to train and be a part of their lives. You know, starting with our first athlete over here, Leonard Johnson. Leonard Johnson, just to kind of give you a history of him, he was the first NFL athlete that my husband started training, and he reached out to, my husband and, wanted to get training. And he came in, and during that time, my husband was actually working full-time at his job, and he was only training here part-time. Although we had opened up our facility back in 2014, he wasn't full-time. And it wasn't until he actually got the opportunity to start training Leonard is when we had this whole discussion, and he was like, man, it's like, he loved training, and the opportunity to train and even mentor Leonard was just something that he's always wanted to do. And he realized at that moment that, this is what, God called him to do. And, even with him already starting the facility, it was something where it was still something that we were still, he was still part-time, and he wasn't completely, dived into the business. And we were in the process of purchasing a home. We were literally like going to get our house, and my husband, I just saw a huge difference in him for that whole week. And it was so, I know that it was nothing but God that led Leonard here and actually gave my husband that push to go full-time, because we were never going to go full-time. It just wasn't going to be what we had planned because of us beginning to purchase our home. And when the opportunity presented itself, I talked to my husband. I said, babe, you look so much younger. This whole week that you've been training him, it took like 10 years, and I could see how happy he was and how genuine and passionate he was about training, that I said, babe, I don't care. We getting a starter home anyways. Why not, go forward with getting a house and go full force with this business. God is going to take care of us. He's gonna provide. And from that moment, which I know why it was nothing but God, because Leonard trained with us for maybe a month or two, and then he left and went to New Jersey, I believe. And that's when, literally, we started getting business, and it's like we never skipped a beat from him leaving. And I knew that it was nothing but God that led him here, that actually gave my husband that push and that motivation to go full force with the business. And 3 years in, we've, have had countless athletes who've come through the doors. We've had Artavis Scott, which is one of our athletes who've been with my husband since high school. He's like family to us, and my husband, always call him his kid, and my husband really believes that's his kid. He loves Artavis, and it's amazing to see how, how each kid that he trains, he has a connection with, and that he studies them. He sees their behavior. It's times where he's watched Tay and he's seen things that he's did, and that he calls him and say, hey, this is what I noticed, or he know that it's like he has a sense when he's not, things are maybe troubling him, and he gives them that call, and it's always, the right time with him. And Tay's been with us. He's from high school now up until professional level, where he's now with the LA Chargers, and he's just been one of those amazing kids, and one of those amazing testimonies that that God placed an individual like him in my husband's life, that he's been able to mentor, mold, and be with through the whole journey.
Artavis Scott came from Clemson, had an opportunity to work with Tiz going into my senior year. Ever since then, he been showing me new technique. He done boosted my game to a whole nother level, and it's been motivating to me just to see how he changed everything around. I remember it was just me and him and my cousin on Greenwood Field, just a little grass field. Now we got the facility, and we just making it grow, and it's just a good thing to see him, what he's doing with the USG. Got here at the 707. Shoot, I wish we had a team when I was going, but that's the best thing about following God's plan for you. He had a vision. Him and his wife sat down, and now look at you making everything big around us, positive influence on the kids. Just making something happen. It's definitely impacted me a lot. Just watching him as a man. He tried to emulate imitate some of those things as yourself, you know, growing up. And it's definitely been humbling for me just to watch how this process and watch how everything grow around me. And he's so supportive. I mean, he been with me through everything. I mean, combine, high school, college, you know, now my transition into the NFL. So, I mean, it's been good. I mean, he's been with me every step of the way. I mean, he gonna bring it out you. I mean, sometimes you're gonna be like, man, why we doing it, why we doing it? But it always pay off in the end. I mean, he, like I said, you know, helped me bro, big steps. I mean, he like another father to me. You know, he's always been there. I mean, call me, check up on me no matter what. I mean, the biggest thing to me is that he's a God-fearing man. He always put God before everything. We pray before we work out. And at the end of the day, he know whatever he fall, no matter what, he gonna get back up and he gonna make it happen again just because his belief in God. And that's what I feel about myself. You know, every time something go wrong, he gonna make it happen. And that's the thing I need people around like Tiz and his wife, you know, that always pick me up, even be with me through thick and thin outside of my own parents, you know, because a lot of people say they there for you, but you never really know who really for you. Tiz and his wife, you know, they always been there for me, and that's the biggest thing with USG. We build a family atmosphere. You know, whenever you need somebody, you're gonna have something right there for you, and it's gonna always be great. We're a family, and that's what we live and die by.
My name is Adam Harris. I'm from Clearwater, Florida. I've been training at USG now for about a month. I'm getting ready for my pro day March 30th. It's just a blessing, man. Somebody like Tisdale Bryant, he's great. He has a lot of workouts for you to get ready for what I'm about to come up against next on March 30th. You know, and being out here at this tournament is a blessing because back in the day, I didn't have that opportunity to do this. So being around these younger guys, you know, it's good for these kids and get the competition that they need. And Ultimate Stomping Ground, it's the best of the best. You know, you're gonna get that work in Monday through Friday, twice a day, every day, and you know, it's to see where you at about a month. In 2 months, we gonna see where I'm at. So, you know, next step is the league. So that's waiting on that. So every day I pray, you know, and leave it all in God's hands and just put it all in Tiz's hands, and I trust him. You know, and it's just been a blessing this far.
Tyler Marlin from Dunedin, Florida. I went to Weber International University, and I've been training at USG for the past 3-4 years, man, and it's helped me a lot be the man I am and showcase my talent in front of everybody. And Tiz he's not just a trainer, he's just like a family man, and like everything we do is a brotherhood. So you come there and everything's family.
So when I left, I just didn't leave with like just saying I'm just gonna leave and I'm gonna figure out things. Like when I left, I knew that I had a purpose. I knew God put that into me. He gave me the vision. Like he been put the vision into me years and years before. I remember, you know, telling my cousin David and Brandon, man, I got this vision in my head. I need to get this logo out my brain, like, because it's hard for me to sleep at night. So I just need to put it on paper to get it out. And I forgot all about the story, so one day he reminded me about it. And it just shows, like, man, where God have taken us from and where He's leading us to go right now. So I'm very blessed and thankful for the journey. And that's being said, you know, I just wanted a place where all our athletes, you know, all sports, you know, any kid that want to strive to get better and want to be the best and that he can be, I wanted a place for them to come and get real training. You know, I know a lot of people that's in this industry that, you know, they does a lot of training, and it's continuously to get popular in the state of Florida and all over the country. But I wanted my training to be different. I wanted my training to be, you know, real as possible. With our kids come in, we have the most driven kids in the Florida area, in the Tampa Bay area, most motivated kids. I mean, these kids come from different backgrounds. They come from different places. And so much like myself, I can relate so much to these kids.
State your name for me.
Brandon Gary from Largo, Florida.
What inspired you to play this game?
Well, ever since I was a kid, I just had a love for the game. It's been my everything since I was a little boy.
Next question, what trials and tribulations that you had since you've been playing this game?
Well, my brother, my cousin, they both got 30 years of life, and I was basically abandoned by both of my parents. I ain't had nobody.
Next question. So what's your end goal for you playing this game? What's your end goal?
My end goal is to go D1 and make it to the next level.
So is there anything that you can tell a young kid out there looking at the camera that's watching you, seeing what you're doing right now, that's coming behind you, what can you tell them?
Just grind. Your grind got to be stronger than the next man, because everybody grinding out there, everybody, so you just got to want it more than the next man.
So Brandon Gary is another one of USG athletes here that trains here with the rest of the guys. Brandon Gary, another special way we met. Basically, his caseworker brings him in one day, and you know, I meet caseworker, and I get a chance to meet Brandon, and I just knew right then and there it was God that sent this kid. Brandon was a kid on the streets for a majority of his life. That was told to me, and you know, he was doing a lot of the wrong things, getting into a lot of trouble, and just living the street life basically. And someone told him that he need to, you know, get into school, go back to school, and he need to get in a foster home and basically get off the streets. So, you know, he had help doing that, and he had an amazing caseworker. By the way, her name was, remember her name, babe? Jordan. Yeah, Jordan. Amazing caseworker. Looked out for Brandon so much. She got him here, and I met him, and it was just like, man, this kid was amazing, man. His story, foster home, first time playing linebacker, was lights out on the field. So he pretty much just channeled all his emotions outside of the field. When he got on the field, he was reckless and made a lot of plays. Brandon right now has maybe 10 offers, maybe 5 to 10 offers. They just continue to roll in. South Florida, Syracuse, a lot of big schools. He'll get more. He still has one more year to play, and I'm just so proud of him, and you know what he has overcome, and what he's on the right track to accomplish in life. He's one of my kids, and you know, he called me from time to time. He always said, "Coach, man, I could be real with you because you can relate to me. You know, you've been through what I've been through, Coach," and stuff like that. So it's refreshing to like hear, you know, whenever he's about to tell me something that's not so good, and it's probably gonna be real crazy and coming out his mouth. But the fact that he feel comfortable with sharing with me anything that's bad, good. I mean, he shared with me things that he don't share with a lot of people, and I feel special because I'm able to give him the right direction, maybe mentor him and talk to him in the right manner where he understands me, and he trusts me enough to know that we've been through the same thing, similarities in that, and he know that I understand anything he say. So and he knows that I'm gonna give him constructive feedback and point him in the right direction. So it's special for me that he trusted me. Brandon Gary, he has one more year. He was selected to be invited to the All-American Combine in Texas. He went there, performed very well, put up some good numbers, bright future, good grades. He will be going off to college if he continue to go in the direction he's headed. One thing about Brandon, what makes him so special and what makes him so different is because he actually, like myself, he actually had a chance to live the lifestyle early on in life. So with a kid like that, as focused he is now, he'll never go back.
We on the road, out here at USG, Clearwater, Florida. State your name for us.
My name is Richie Rosa from Clearwater, Florida.
First question, what inspired you to play this game?
Well, I got family members, but they never made it to the next level, so I'm the last one they got, so I got to get out there for them.
big question that a lot of people want to know, what trials and tribulations that you had going through this game?
My mom, she going through struggles, so I had to move my dad, and ever since I moved my dad, start training football more, and just getting my mind right, my grades right. That's it.
Since you play this game, one of the big questions, what's your end goal?
My end goal?
Your end goal.
Be successful, provide for my family, and yeah, that's what it is.
If there's one more question I can ask you, if there's a young kid out there watching, looking to carry youngsters, what can you tell them that's coming behind you that want to play this game, one of the youngsters? What can you tell them to do that want to play this game?
Just keep on working, because when you're sitting down, there's always somebody out there working harder than you. That's all you got to keep in mind. Just keep on working.
Basically, with Richie, Richie was the first kid you put on the screen. I met his father, Big Richie, at a game. It was one of Little League's football games, and another parent introduced me to him. I think it was Otis, my good friend Otis Dixon. And basically, we went to talking and everything like that. It wasn't so much about USG or anything like that, because at the time it was just like, I'm just talking and having a good conversation. It's not like something I want to, have to sell my business and actually what I do and everything like that. So we're just having a good, wholesome conversation. And Richie just happened to be one of his kids that played on, Countryside Cougars Little League football team. So eventually he ended up coming in, and like I say, I get close to all my kids, and just sitting down with Richie and talking to him, and found out a lot of things that happened in his life. It wasn't like quick thing, where we just sit down and like that. But we gradually filled each athlete out, and Richie had a few setbacks, and I just wondering why we have a lot of setbacks. Because when an athlete come in, first thing I do is try to read body language. I try to look at the body language of my athlete that I'm training, and try to have something in common with that individual. Because in order for me to transform him, I always believe I have to have something in common with that individual. So I engage them and watch their body language, how they move when they're happy, when they're sad, and when something bothers them, I can always tell. And so I pull them aside, to try to find out more information on what's going on, because I know, it's just like your kid every day. When he off, when he on, when something wrong. So I try to study each individual like that, in that way. So learned to find out that Richie was a kid that, he was with his mom up until I think maybe 3 years ago, or maybe even 2 years ago, and the whole entire time. And his dad would, come and take care of him also and stuff like that. But he was full time with his mom. His mom was on drugs, things like that, which she still is to the day, and she struggles with addiction. And so sometimes Richie have setbacks where, he get down on himself and he get a little depressed. So I have to try to, be there uplifting along with his mother and father, Lisa, and Richie. So like I say, I know it takes a village.
We're in the right here.
Just let them know that, my mom too was strung out on drugs, and she had an addiction, things, and that I had to go through and I had to endure, and I had to be mental tough, strong, to be able to get through that, because it was a tough time for me. Thank God I had my auntie that took me in, Polly, and I had Leroy McKinney, my uncles that took me in and raised me. So I was thankful, so I was able to share with him some of the things I was going through, and I know he looked at me differently because of those situations, to actually see that I was standing in front of him, and I was able to endure and get over those obstacles, and I'm still here, man, and I ain't stopping. So I'm able to talk to him from time to time and let him know I gotta keep going, and just motivate him any way I can. But that kid out there, like I said, I love them all. I love that kid. You know what I'm saying? It's a connection, like you said. God is using me because I'm connected with them, and the type of kids take a village, but they need USG. They need to be here. You know what I'm saying? So if the kids ain't here at USG, they definitely missing out. You know what I'm saying? Because we more than just a gym. You know, we train them not just physically, but mentally. I'm constantly, you know, tapping into their brain and trying to bring out greatness and trying to push them. You know, I have kids that tell me like, I ask them, man, you scared to be successful? You know, and the reason why I ask them that is they're scared to be successful because I could tell by their body language. You could tell if you know a kid, this kid is going hard, he's going okay, he's doing. Somebody that don't know the kid, they'll think, man, that kid, he got a hell of a workout. He's doing great. But I see that he can work harder than that, you know, because I know this individual kid, and I know where he come from, and I know what's inside of him. So I ask him, like, you scared to be successful? And you have some kids that say, yeah, I'm scared. And I'm like, man, now I want to know what you're scared of. You know, because a lot of times they just scared to be successful because what's going on around them in their environment and what they seeing, you know, everybody average. It's okay to be mediocre. It's okay to be average. You know what I'm saying? They don't see nobody that's being extraordinary. They don't see nobody up here that's elevated. Everybody right here, everywhere they see. So when they getting pushed by me to achieve greatness, it scares them. Because now it's like, wow, man, he pushing me so hard to achieve greatness, like I'm just scared to fail. And they say, I'm scared to fail. And I ask them, what you scared of? And that be it. They say, man, you can't be scared. You can't scared. You know, you can't be scared to fail. You gotta take risks. You gotta believe in God. You gotta have faith, and you gotta work. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I, you know, body language gave it all. I'm looking at their body language. That's why I'm able to ask them certain things, because God giving me the wisdom. He puts it in me. He allows me to see certain things. So I'm just like, man, I see, because I've been there. So I'm like, I see what it is. He ain't going as hard as he should be because I know he's scared. He's scared of being great. And this kid got all the talent. He got the gift, but he just want to go through the motion. And it look good. It's smooth. And it look real good, but I know he's going through the motions. I know he can get out more than what he wants. But he's not letting it out because he's scared. And we found out, like, man, you know, it's amazing. You know, and it's a lot of kids like that, you know, because they haven't seen much, man. Nobody holds them, you know, to a higher standard. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter. Like they come from different backgrounds. You know, their parents and you know, people, their cousins, their family just have different expectations for them. But you know, here at USG, our expectations is very high, man. And that's the way it's always gonna be. Each kid that come through the door, the minute they come through the door, we reaching for the stars. We let them know, man, like, you gotta reach high, you know, get to the top. That's my motivation, to get to the top. When y'all see us around, and at the end of the workout, my thing is show love, show love. They hear me say show love at the end, because like that's important to me, because you got kids coming from all over, black, white, green, purple. They first time come in, they're like, oh, these kids hugging on me? Like, what's going on? It's kind of, and you look at the body language, they kind of taken back, like, wow, you know what I'm saying? But when I started USG, that was real important to me to have at the end of our breakdowns, is to show love to each other and encourage each other. So when you see that breakdown, you'll hear the kids saying, you know, good job, keep up the work, you know, and then you'll hear me say, let's go, let's get to that All-American status, let's keep going, you know, different things. So at the end, it's important for them to understand that the work we put in will pay off. But we in this together, and at the end, we motivate each other to keep going, you know. So that's what God put in me. And also, like I said, you know, praying with our athletes and stuff like that is very important, because I told one of the kids yesterday, like, I see you, man. Like, you battling your own mind. You battling up here. I could see it. And he just looked at me. Because that's all it is. I know the kid's battling up here mentally. He's battling himself. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to find himself and battling. And you can see it in his body language. You know what I mean? At least I can see it in his body language, because I know him. And he just looked at me like, dang. Like, you know, how he know? Like, he kind of stayed away from me, like something was wrong. Like, I knew. platinum, I mean, I just feel like I'm just shining, you know, to help these kids, each and every individual that come through the door. Like, I just feel so good. And, you know, it's not about the money. I always tell the athletes all the time, you know, when y'all come in here, y'all gonna work. You know, at times I have to bring them in and let them know, like, you know, we're gonna work while we in here. Like, if you don't wanna work, you can go home. You know, your parents and you know, spending a lot of money for you to come here and train and get quality training, good work. And we reaching for the stars. You know, if we hit the clouds, that's okay too, but we're gonna aim high. You know, we got high expectations here, very high for each athlete that come through, and I express that daily to each individual that come through here. I just want to continue to have my doors open to each and every athlete that come to me, because like I said before, I believe that they're sent from God. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for God. I wouldn't be in this building. I thank God for where I'm at. So I just feel like I'm on top of the world, because, you know, I'm doing my purpose that God put in me. I'm able to continue to live it out. And, you know, I love every bit of it.